Hi everybody, I'm Firefighter Thanh, and I am here to read The Polar Bear Who Wouldn't Swim. Okay, let's see here. All right, nighttime was the best time at the zoo for the animals. After a long day of showing off for the visiting boys and girls, the animals could finally let loose and have some fun. The frogs played leapfrog on the lily pads, the kangaroos played hopscotch, and the monkeys just monkeyed around. See? Across the zoo, the polar bear family shared in the fun. 3 young cubs, Jenna, Henry, and Sydney, splashed in their pool while their mom watched. Just like most polar bears, the cubs loved to swim. But not their brother Zeke. He never joined in the fun. He was afraid of the water and sat by himself bouncing his favorite ball, hoping to be left alone. He just couldn't and wouldn't swim. And you notice here that his brothers and sisters were swimming with their mom watching. So anytime you guys are in the water, you should have an adult be there with you. But on this night, Zeke lost control of his ball and it started to roll toward the pool. "Oh no!" Zeke shouted as he scrambled to his paws and sprinted after the ball. He couldn't let the ball fall into the water, and as he ran, he could hear his mom yelling, "Don't run by the pool!" But he did not listen. Zeke was close to grabbing the ball, but when he lunged for it, his paw slipped and he tumbled into the water. So, if you can't swim yet, or if you're by yourself, and if something goes in the pool, what do you think we should do? Definitely, you should get somebody that can swim, like your mom or your dad, or your big brother or sister, and have them go get the ball for you. We can always get it back. We don't want you to accidentally fall in the pool. Jenna sprang into action when she saw her brother crash into the water and struggle to stay afloat. She grabbed a life ring and threw it to Zeke, who clutched on as she pulled him to safety. Boy, Zeke was super lucky that his sister was there to see it happen, so she was able to rescue him. But definitely you don't want to jump in the water if you don't know how to swim. Zeke shivered with embarrassment, wondering what his family thought about a polar bear who couldn't and wouldn't swim. He knew he had to go somewhere. Animals couldn't and wouldn't swim too, but where? Just then, Zeke thought of his friend Parker the penguin. He looked around at his family enjoying the water and made his choice. Zeke sneaked off to see Parker. And that's what he did. He went to where all the penguins hang out. "Hiya, Zeke," shouted Parker when he spotted Zeke in the penguin habitat. "What are you up to?" "I don't want to live by the water because I can't swim and I don't feel safe," explained Zeke. "Penguins don't swim, so I want to live with you." Parker crossed his flippers. "I love to swim," he said. "You're a polar bear. What do you mean you don't swim? As long as you follow the A, B, C, and D's, you'll be safe in the water." "The A, B, C, and D's?" asked for a confused Zeke. "Yeah, the A, B, C, and D's of water safety. A is for adults. I only go into my pool when an adult is watching me. That way, they know I'm safe. B is for, see, this is where the penguins go swim, okay? And they always have an adult that is watching them." "No, no, no," Zeke interrupted. "Maybe you like the water, but it is too scary for me." Zeke turned around, not wanting to hear any more, and left. He couldn't and wouldn't swim. "Now where should I go?" Zeke thought to himself. "Aha," he said aloud. There was no way the largest animals in the zoo could swim. They were just too big. Zeke sprinted off to see his friend Elliot the elephant. So off he went to the elephant enclosure. As soon as Zeke got into the elephant habitat, he saw Elliot splashing his dad in the pool. "Hey Zeke, come on in," shouted Elliot. Zeke couldn't believe his eyes. "I didn't know you could swim," Zeke sighed. "I sure can," replied Elliot. "It is fun as long as I follow the A, B, C, and D's. A is for adults, B is for barriers." "What are barriers?" Zeke asked. "Barriers are fences and gates that keep me away from the water when my mom or dad are not there to watch me. I only swim when they open the gate to my pool to let me in. C is for, see the barrier right here? Okay, if it's closed, we don't go in. When it's time to go swimming, our parents will take us. Before Elliot could finish, Zeke stood up, shaking his head. He did not want to hear about how swimming could be safe or fun. He couldn't and wouldn't swim. He said a quick goodbye to Elliot, and Elliot just shrugged and waved his trunk. Zeke was confused and sad. Could he be the only animal in the zoo afraid of the water? Everyone loved the water, penguins, polar bears, and even elephants. But Zeke couldn't swim. He wouldn't swim, and he knew he had to keep going. He wondered what animal he could live with who wouldn't swim. Finally, he had his answer, and he hurried off to see Hannah the hippo. So off he goes to go see Hannah. When he arrived, Hannah was prancing around the hippo pool, practicing her ballet as her mom watched nearby. Zeke was happy to see his friend not swimming, but his hopes washed away when Hannah broke her stride and launched into a giant cannonball right into the pool, and splash! She went into the water. Hannah came up laughing. "I totally got you," Zeke stood there shivering and soaked. "Oh, I'm sorry, Zeke," said Hannah. "I only wanted to surprise you." "It's not you," he said. "I'm scared of swimming. I want to live somewhere without water, but everyone swims." "I used to be scared of swimming too. I thought I couldn't, so I wouldn't. It was horrible to be a hippo that didn't swim," she exclaimed, "but I'm not afraid anymore." Zeke perked up. "But how did you get over it?" he asked. "There is nothing to be afraid of if you follow the ABCs and Ds." "Here we go again," thought Zeke. "Come with me and I'll show you," she said. Hannah grabbed Zeke's hand and dashed through the zoo. So off they went. When they finally stopped running, Zeke was terrified to see the biggest and scariest pool he had ever seen. "Well, where are we going?" he shuddered. "Let's sit down," Hannah replied. Zeke trusted his friend, so they sat together at the edge of the pool. And here they are. He's a little bit nervous right now, but his friend's looking out for him. Just then, a lone, dark fin popped out of the water and started to speed towards Zeke and Hannah. Zeke tried and tried to get his friend to stand up, but she wouldn't budge. The dark fin was getting too close. Zeke prepared for the worst. And how many of you guys cover your eyes when you get scared? I know I do. "Daisy!" shouted Hannah. Zeke opened one eye and then the other. There in front of him was Daisy the dolphin. "Hi, Hannah. Who's your friend?" asked Daisy. "This is Zeke. He is afraid to get in the pool," Hannah said. "Do you remember the A and B of safety? C is for classes," Hannah explained to Zeke. "After taking classes with Daisy, I knew how to swim and be safe around water. She can teach you too." See how awesome she is? She's a good coach and she can teach. So that's what you all should do. If you haven't gotten lessons yet, ask your mom and dad to sign you up so you can learn how to swim also. Daisy looked at Zeke. "It's true, I could teach you to swim." "It's easy, come on in." Daisy extended her fins and Zeke looked into the blue water, not sure what to do. He could walk away and go home right now, or he could face his fear tonight. He stared down at the water and thought about what to do. No more sitting alone, no more couldn'ts, no more wouldn'ts, and no more being the only polar bear who was afraid to swim. So, yes, it's a little scary when you're first learning how to swim, but once you make it, it's the best thing ever. Trusting in Daisy, Zeke jumped into her fins and held his breath. He was surprised when Daisy caught him before he went under. She held him up and he felt safe in the water for the first time. They spent all night in the water learning how to swim. And before the swimming lesson was over, Daisy said, "Don't forget about the D of the A, B, C, and D's. D is for drains. Make sure you always stay away from pool drains because you can become stuck to them. Most animals don't know about the D, but now you do." See? So he jumped in and Daisy took care of him, right? And then what she pointed out was at the bottom of the pool or on the side of the pool, there's going to be drains. If you're swimming, you want to stay away from them, okay? Because they can pull you towards them and then you get stuck, and that's a huge problem. Knowing the A, B, C, and D's of water safety helped Zeke learn to swim. He promised Daisy he would come back to swim with her. It was fun. When it was time to go home, Zeke said the A, B, C, and D's one more time so he wouldn't forget. A is for, right, adult. B is for barriers, C is for classes, and D is for drains. And we definitely want to stay away from the drains, right? So A, B, C, and D. By the time the sun came up, Zeke was back with his family, snuggling with Jenna, Henry, and Sydney. When he woke, the zoo had opened and kids were lining up to catch a glimpse of the great polar bears. Zeke proudly stood up and walked towards the pool. So there's his family, and when it was time to go out to the pool, he felt better because now he knew the A, B, C, and D's of swimming. After his mom opened the gate, Zeke checked to make sure she was watching. He remembered his classes from the night before and he jumped in. When he came up, all the kids were clapping loudly, excited to see the young polar bear playing in the water. See? Zeke waited for his mom to open the gate so he can come into the pool area, and then while his mom is watching, he actually went into the water. Now, Zeke learned overnight, but not all of us will learn that fast. So don't be discouraged if you don't get it the first day. Come back the second day or the third day and you'll eventually learn how to swim. From that day on, whenever animals in the zoo were afraid of the water, Zeke taught them how to be safe with the A, B, C, and D's and brought them to see Daisy for her special swimming lessons. Never again did a young animal say he couldn't and wouldn't, because Zeke was there to show them they could and they should. All right, well that brings us to the end of the book, and I want to thank you all so much for letting me read to you The Polar Bear Who Couldn't, Wouldn't Swim. And with that brings us to a conclusion of this month's summer story time. It's been a blast hanging out with you guys every Tuesday and Thursday and reading to you. Have your parents monitor social media for future events, and we'll see you soon.